This is your AESH Weekly News Minute for Tuesday, April 25, 2023. Energy News. Shell launches world's first electric ferry in Singapore. Shell has introduced the world's first electric ferry at its Singapore refinery as part of its collaboration with Singapore's Maritime and Port Authority (MPA) on reducing emissions from ships, as reported by Reuters on April 17. Shell Eastern Trading and the MPA has signed a 5-year agreement to jointly promote the adoption of electric harborcraft and the development of low and zero carbon fuels in Singapore. Shell will focus on expanding the charging infrastructure for electric vessels, while the MPA will work to make spare charging capacity available to other users. Shell plans to put the first electric ferry, Penguin Refresh, into operation in May and another 2 by August, partly replacing diesel-powered ferries currently in use. The move is a step towards meeting the MPA's rule that require all new harbor craft operating in its waters to be electric, run on biofuels, or net zero fuels by 2030. Singapore's Transport Minister, S. Iswaran, praised Shell as an important partner in the country's efforts to achieve net zero emissions by 2050. Shell estimates that the deployment of the 3 electric ferries, which run on power generated from natural gas, could reduce carbon dioxide emissions by more than 6,200 tons annually. Logistics and transportation news. New UK restrictions on EU hauliers no barrier for Gertika. At the turn of this year, the UK Department of Transport introduced new rules on cabotage and combined transport. The 3-month grace period allowing hauliers who breach the rules to go without being fined has now passed, which could be an issue for some EU hauliers transporting goods into the UK. However, the new rules are evidently no problem for logistics giant Gertika, who has declared on its website the continuation of its UK transport services. For those unfamiliar with the changes, the UK has removed the following rights of foreign hauliers. The right of operators based in EU member states to conduct cabotage movements when entering the UK on Latin. The right of operators based in EU member states to conduct combined transport, i.e., certain types of intermodal transport where goods are transported in the same loading unit or vehicle using 2 or more modes of transport. The right of operators based in EU member states to pick up goods in the UK and then go to a non-EU country to drop off those goods, known as triangular traffic, through the use of a community license. Technology news. US urges South Korea not to fill China shortfalls if Beijing bans Micron chips. The United States asked South Korea to urge its chip makers not to fill any market gap in China if Beijing bans memory chip maker Micron from selling chips, the Financial Times reported on Sunday. The US made the request as South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol prepares to travel to Washington on Monday, the newspaper reported, according to 4 people familiar with the talks. China's cyberspace regulator Cyberspace Administration of China (CAC) said in March it would conduct a cybersecurity review of products sold in the country by Micron. In a response, Micron said it is cooperating with the Chinese government and that its operations in China are normal. Washington asked Seoul to encourage Samsung Electronics and SK Hynix to hold back from boosting sales to China if Micron is banned as a result of the investigation, the report added, citing people familiar with the situation. The US has imposed a series of export controls on technology to China for fear it could be used to produce chips for military applications. It has blacklisted a number of China's largest chip firms, including Micron rival Yangtze Memory Technologies. Finance news. Credit Suisse says lost $68 billion in assets last quarter, outflows continue. Credit Suisse said on Monday it had 61 billion Swiss francs, $68 billion, in net asset outflows in the first quarter, adding that outflows were continuing even in the wake of the 167-year-old institution's state-engineered rescue by UBS. These outflows have moderated but have not yet reversed as of April 24, 2023, Credit Suisse said. It also said it had experienced significant withdrawals of cash deposits, as well as non-renewal of maturing time deposits. Customer deposits declined by 67 billion Swiss francs in the first quarter. The bank reported results for what is likely to be the last time, as its shotgun marriage with rival Swiss bank UBS is expected to be completed soon. Assets managed by Credit Suisse's flagship wealth management division dropped to 502.5 billion francs at the end of March, compared to 707 billion reported for the same period last year. Global news headlines. Russian oil slashes OPEC's share of Indian market to 22-year low. OPEC's share of India's oil imports fell at the fastest pace in 2022 and 2023, to the lowest in at least 22 years, as intake of cheaper Russian oil surged, data obtained from industry sources show, and the major producers' share could shrink further this year. Members of the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, mainly from the Middle East and Africa, saw their share of India's oil market slide to 59% in the fiscal year to March 2023, from about 72% in 2021 and 2022, a Reuters analysis of the data that dates back to 2001 seconds showed. Russia overtook Iraq for the first time to emerge as the top oil supplier to India, pushing Saudi Arabia down to number 3 in the last fiscal year, the data showed. This has been your AESH Weekly News Minute for Tuesday, April 25, 2023. If you want more global energy news and real-time alerts, hit the subscribe button now and follow us on social media.